This is the plaintiff, Thomas Simpson. He says he was falsely accused by the defendants of a crime he did not commit. Spent 18 months fighting the charges in court, almost lost his business, has spent countless money, and the defendants have to pay him back for their false accusations. He's suing for $10,000 for attorney's fees and lying to the police. These are the defendants, James and Linda Jessinghouse. They say the plaintiff trespassed onto their property, cut down 150 trees in their 100-acre property, and cut the wood into firewood in an attempt to sell it. The guy got everything he deserved in court except being found guilty by some sympathetic jury of his peers. Bottom line, the plaintiff's lucky his daughter caught him in the act, because if she didn't, things would have been very different indeed. They're accused of shivering their timbers. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $3,500, the value of the destroyed trees.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Thomas Simpson, you are suing James and Linda Jessinghouse?
Yes, ma'am.
For $10,000 for malicious prosecution and defamation of character, including your attorney's fees, the cost of a criminal case that you apparently succeeded on, loss of time from work, and loss of reputation. All right, you have a counterclaim against him for $3,500 for half the total worth of trees that you say he cut down without permission on your property, 150 trees.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me hear from you, Mr. Simpson.
I approached the defendant in October of '08. I was working for his neighbor in July. There are some dead trees on Mr. Jessinghouse property leaning over the fence line.
Okay, hold that thought 1 second. How big is your property?
100 acres.
100 acres?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and where is it?
Grants Pass, Oregon.
In Oregon. Okay, so go on.
I approached him in October. He was on his way out on a hunting trip. He didn't have time to deal with it, but he told me, I am interested, come back. In February, now 2009, I did come back to him. I drove up to his house, we met, he got my truck with me, and we drove to the neighbors. We looked at the trees that are over the line and some other things.
When you say the line, there's no fence, right?
It is a fence.
No, there is a fence. Okay.
Yeah, 8 foot.
When you say over the line, what does it you mean? Do you mean that branches are hanging over?
Yeah, the trees are leaning over
Okay.
the fence line.
The trees are leaning or the branches are growing over? Trees are
Both.
leaning?
Trees
Or
are
both?
leaning, branches over.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead.
The trees in question, I cut some of them. I didn't finish cutting the rest.
Well, what were you proposing, to remove the tree?
I was proposing to him to hire to remove those trees.
Entirely, as opposed to for you to keep trimming them?
Correct.
Okay.
Instead of paying me with money, I suggested that he allow me to cut firewood for my personal use in exchange. He agreed. He looked me in the eye, he shook my hand and said, yeah.
I don't understand. What are you suggesting that he authorized you to do?
He authorized me to remove the trees over the property and cut firewood for my personal use.
What we have in question is a lot of trees. It's not really your personal use. It's for you to sell, right?
No.
It's your personal use? How many chimneys you got?
I have one wood stove. I've lived at my home for 22 years.
Right.
I burn about 5 cords a year.
Okay, but this is a lot more than 5 cords, right?
He's lying. I have a forester's report. I hired a forester in defense of myself.
May I see that?
He did his report, and the summary of his report states I took 4.2 cords. 120.
Hold on. Let's do this chronologically. So,
Okay.
According to you, on February of '09, he says, yes, remove how many trees?
There were probably 6 trees on the line.
6 trees. And he did not pay you to remove those 6 trees?
Correct.
And then he told you that you could, in perpetuity, get personal firewood off his property?
Correct.
Forever and ever until you die?
Quote, he said, you can have all the firewood you want. I own 100 acres up here.
That doesn't sound odd to you when you say that in a court of law.
No, it doesn't.
What if you live for 30, 40 years and you're just pilfering his firewood for all those years?
He's not cutting it himself. He looked me in
The
the
reason I'm
eye.
asking you is because watch this. Did you tell him he could go on your property and take your firewood forever in return for moving those 6 trees?
No, ma'am.
Tell me your version of what happened on that February of '09.
There was one tree in question, Your
Only
Honor,
one
and I have
tree,
a picture
not
of that.
6 trees. You have a picture of it.
I have a picture of that
All right,
tree.
how'd you get the picture?
I took it personally.
Before the tree was removed?
It's never been removed.
Oh, the tree's never been removed?
No, ma'am.
Did you hire him that day, either
No, ma'am.
by promising him firewood or by paying him?
He proposed to me that the neighbor wanted that tree out and was going to pay him to take the tree. I have
Okay.
my own equipment, and I would never hire anybody else to fall a tree. I mean, I have caterpillars and backhoes and dump trucks and all the necessary equipment to take that tree out, but I don't burn wood, so. And the tree's alive. The only thing wrong with that tree, it has an Oregon grape growing in it, and it's kind of ugly. He proposed that the neighbor was going to hire him to clean that tree up because it was an eyesore.
Okay.
The tree is approximately 75 foot from my neighbor's house, and
Okay.
it is really close to the property line, and I honestly don't know whether it's on me or the neighbor without a survey, which would be expensive. And I told him that he could take the tree.
Okay, but was he saying that the neighbor was going to pay it or that you were supposed
The
to pay it?
neighbor was going to pay. I never.
All right, so go on, Mr. Simpson. So according to you, he tells you can have all the firewood you want. When does the bad thing happen that there's a confrontation and an arrest and all that?
I wasn't
October?
physically arrested.
Okay, well, you were charged with a crime. You were indicted
In
and charged with a crime. Tell me
October
when that happened.
of-
October of '09? Okay, and how did that come about? Tell me about that.
I was up there working. Their daughter, Jessica, come up on the property. She was hunting. We spoke together. I gave her my business card, and she went home, told her mother.
Wait. How did you come upon the daughter?
I was working up there that day.
What does working up there that day mean?
Cutting firewood,
On their 100 acres.
yes.
And she is doing what?
Hunting.
And, ooh, that could be very dangerous. Okay, and then she sees you and says, who the heck are you and what are you doing on my property?
I told her, I'm Tom. Here's my business card. Jim told me I could be working up here cutting some firewood. That was all. I left her my business card and went
So
on my
daughter
way.
comes to who, mom or dad?
Mom.
Mom, and what happens?
He told her the story about, oh, I have Big Jim's permission to cut firewood, and gave her a business card. She brought it immediately to me. I called Jim in Eastern Oregon, asked him if he'd given anyone permission to go on our property and cut firewood. He said no, he hadn't. He told me to call Mr. Simpson and tell him to stay off our property, which I did.
This happens, and then does he call you or do you call him, or how did the police end up involved?
I called the sheriff.
You called the sheriff. So now, tell me your version of the conversation with Mrs. Jessinghouse.
I never had a conversation with Linda Jessinghouse. I didn't know she existed.
Okay, who
I
did you
don't-
talk to after the daughter?
Officer Wallace.
All right, do you have the police report?
I do.
Can I see it? When did they charge you with a crime?
I received an indictment December 29th,
When was your trial?
March of this year.
And what happens?
I was found not guilty by a jury.
And that's what brings us here today, that you want punishment for malicious prosecution. You want them to pay you $10,000 because you had to go through that, because you feel it's unfair because according to you, he gave you permission.
Partly.
Correct? All right. Had you ever been in court before?
Yes.
What was the criminal charge that you were in court for before?
In 1993, was it? There was a charge of trespass.
What kind of
It
trespass?
involved timber. I was
Get out.
working.
It involved timber, just like this case?
No, this is firewood. This is not timber, but
Trees.
it involved trees.
Your Honor, I have the police reports on that also.
Wait, from that?
Yes, I do.
Hand that over. You actually have a prior arrest for stealing someone's trees.
May I make a statement on that? Your
Yeah.
Honor? It actually happened, it was the sheriff of our county that crime was against.
What do you mean the sheriff? Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
No.
Wait a second. It was the actual sheriff's private property?
Yes, ma'am.
How the heck doesn't the sheriff realize that when this case happened, or it was too long ago and he didn't
It's a
connect?
long time ago. He's retired.
How did you find out that it was the actual sheriff? Because you know his name, and when you looked it up,
I know all of them because I'm a retired police officer.
Oh my my God, could this get any better? Oh, please, Mr. Simpson, talk to me.
I had a public defender in that particular case, and he advised me to plead guilty.
I'm just going to put that to a side one moment and ask you a question about this case. How many trees do you say were removed?
There were in excess of 150.
That were removed by him?
Yes, by Mr. Simpson.
Have you ever had anybody else remove trees there?
No, ma'am.
You remove them yourself?
I did, years before, I did remove some trees for an area I cleared for a barn and a little access road.
But that was in
There's some like
1980.
waivers and kind of things like that that
Oh,
you guys
yes.
have been into. What are those?
We would require anybody going on the property to sign a
Okay,
liability.
the people who you had signed the waiver, are those people who you were paying to do work?
No, ma'am. Those were two neighbors that I let take the trees that I had cleared for the site from the barn. There were
Got it.
approximately 10 or 12 trees that
I got it.
I let them have the firewood.
Mr. Simpson, let me just ask you a question now. Why do people keep accusing you of this?
He's accusing me of this, Your Honor, because he's covering his own.
Why?
Because
You afraid of that little thing?
No, ma'am.
The guy is 8 feet tall and a former cop. You think he's afraid of her?
Yeah,
She looks tough, but I don't think she looks that tough.
He may be big in stature, but he's small in character and principles, because he made a commitment with me.
No, don't keep repeating yourself. I want you to give me something I can hang my hat on. Tell me why somebody would give you rights in perpetuity for the rest of your life to take firewood from their property, because it doesn't seem like a sane thing. Nobody would. See, he's the kind of guy who gets waivers from neighbors when they're going to go on his property. Why? Because he knows that if they break their leg, they're going to sue him. So he's the kind of guy who actually gets waivers. You're wanting me to believe that he let you go on his property, and not just for a year or for a month or for once, but forever and ever and ever without a waiver or anything else. So it's a little tough to swallow. But tell me why, if he would give you that permission, why would he then turn around and say, who the heck are you and what are you doing on my property? What would be the motivation for him? You've got to give me a reason he'd have that motivation to turn around and switch. And your answer is because he's afraid of that little thing?
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So can the judge consider the fact that in 1993, this plaintiff did something very similar?
No, I don't believe so.
Why?
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but the situation was very similar.
Well, I mean, people can change. Maybe he had a change of heart. Not really.
Yeah, but he's accused of exactly the same thing.
Sometimes history repeats itself. I mean, maybe he changed his mind, but maybe they're going to use that against him.
Would you let the judge use it against him?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Going inside. God, you are tall. That was really hard. Going inside the courtroom.
Let me explain to you how many different fronts you're out of gas. First of all, in your state, in order for you to prove up a case of malicious prosecution, okay, you've got to be able to prove several elements, all right? Among those elements is that there's no probable cause to have even started a case against you. All right? So let me tell you what malicious prosecution is reserved for. It's for those cases where someone's trying to frame someone. It's not for these types of cases where there's testimony. I never gave him permission. That's not for these kinds of cases. You can't prove that. It's your word against his in here on whether you had permission. And I got to tell you, your word is a little shaky.
Your Honor.
You can't be serious. You have a counterclaim against him for $3,500. When you spoke to the police, you said that you thought the firewood that had been stolen was between $1,200 and $1,300. Oh, by the way, just in case there's any confusion, the stuff that happens in criminal court has nothing to do with the stuff that happens in civil court. If anyone learned anything from the O.J. Simpson trial, they learned that, okay? That there is absolutely not. I have the obligation and the responsibility to start anew and hear the evidence that I have in front of me. I have a question for you. Why was your estimation of the cost of the value of the trees one thing with the cops and another thing now?
Your Honor, when we did the police report, I hadn't found all the trees that Mr. Simpson had cut because he had cut in two other areas that I wasn't aware of at that time. And if you figure the 150 trees that I found that had been cut, it comes out to somewhere between 30 and 40 cords.
Okay, this is a part, no, we're done. This is the part of people's court where we do a little rough justice, okay? That's where we are now. As for your claim, Mr. Simpson, against Mr. Jessinghouse, it's not rough justice, it's quite exact. As for your counterclaim, which is a little rougher to estimate, I'm finding in your favor in the amount of $1,500. That's my verdict. What'd you say? What'd you say?
I said, shoot, Your Honor,
Oh,
on the
okay, I
police
misunderstood
report,
what you said.
the police...
Okay, Mr. Simpson, come on in here. What would you like to say here?
I was going to say that the police report states that he gave permission. I didn't get to admit the evidence.
Well, what did he give permission to do?
To cut trees on his property.
Well, he's not.
It's on the police report. I didn't get a chance to tell the judge. That's what I'm
Why
a
didn't you
little
get
frustrated.
that? Why didn't you get that in writing? You know, that momentary misunderstanding, turns into this whole big thing. If it had been in writing that you had that permission.
I didn't, because there's no money transfer.
All right.
So.
All right, well.
Thank you.
All right, so come on in here and tell me how you feel about the outcome. Come on in here, sir.
Well, I feel it was very fair. I feel that he was wrong, and we just made a point. I don't want him to do it to anybody else.
Mm-hmm. He's done this before, you say,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And it is a state law. You have to have it in writing to remove firewood and haul it.
Mm-hmm. You did give him a little bit of permission to take a little bit,
No.
Right? Nothing?
No.
Not one tree?
One tree on a property line for the neighbor.
Mm-hmm. If you were going to give him permission to do more, would you have written that, had that in writing?
He'd have to. I told him that he even had to supply a liability report before he even cut the tree for the neighbor. So, yeah, he would have to give permission.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, even though the plaintiff was found not guilty of trespass in a criminal case, that doesn't bind the judge in this case. Judge Milian, in a civil case, believed that this guy, bottom line, was a tree thief. The standard of proof is a lot lower, so tough for this guy. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.